you.
You're tuned in to Word of Mom Radio here on the Word of Mom Media Network.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Ask Mom Parenting podcast, where we take the mystery and the yelling out of modern parenting and offer real-life self-help for parents. I'm Sue, and with me is Randy, and we are here with our no bullshit, no filter, zero guilt parenting reboot. Whether you're deep in the toddler tantrums or navigating tween and teen drama, or somewhere in between, you'll get clarity and actionable tools one episode at a time. So today we are talking about gratitude and what gratitude actually is. Our episode today is Gratitude for Kids and how to teach thankfulness to kids through everyday moments that build appreciation. This is not a manners episode, okay? It's not a holiday etiquette, say thank you to grandma episode. But we will address gratitude's role during the holiday season. However, we're going to go much deeper than the basic polite type of gratitude. We're diving into the felt kind, the kind that settles into your chest and actually shifts how you move throughout the day. We'll talk about how kids experience and struggle with gratitude, and we'll teach parents how to cultivate real gratitude in their homes in emotionally intelligent, appropriate ways, especially during the holidays. But first, we need to talk about you, the parent, because gratitude has to live inside of us before it can grow in your child. There's this magical element to gratitude that we'll unpack, because when you intentionally create the habit of finding thankfulness every day, it has this way of positively impacting every aspect of your life. Gratitude is kind of like Advil. You never know how it mysteriously finds the pain, but it does, and it's free and there's no side effects. That's how gratitude is. For me, finding my way back to gratitude has always steadied me more than absolutely anything else I do. And that really says a lot, because I exercise and I eat right and I take supplements and I'm an overall super positive person, but nothing has pulled me through the stress of raising 4 kids and running my own business the way that intentional gratitude has. It's my reset button. It's my recalibration. It's the thing that pulls me back to center and reminds me what actually matters in that moment. Over the years, I've used this one gratitude mantra that flips my mindset immediately from anger to, all right, let's do this. It's every single time. This never fails me. And this mantra is, I don't have to, I get to. This is how this might look in real life, in your daily life, your chores, whatever you're doing. I don't have to vacuum. I get to vacuum the house that I work so hard to turn into a home. So instead of seeing it as the chore that I do daily, sometimes I'm like bitter, but then I'll find my way back to gratitude. I'm like, I'm very lucky to have this home and to have the opportunity to have built this home and have it full of laughter. And I really just sort of focus on the I get to part. So say your kids are yelling, Mom, I go, instead of being angry and frustrated with that, I'll just say, I get to be the person that they feel safest calling for. And that just grounds me immediately. I just look at it through a different lens. I don't have to make another meal. I choose to go out, which is gratitude in itself, right? So it's just, no matter what it is that's happening in your life that is really accumulating, you can stop in that moment and say, I don't have to, I get to. In my case, if I'm driving and I get road rage, which can happen often, I've often thought about how, if I were to get into an accident, this person in front of me who I'm frustrated with might be that very person who pulls off to the side of the road to save me if somebody rear ends me. So I'm constantly challenging myself to find the good in people, good in the situation, and what I have control over. So I can't do a podcast on gratitude without addressing my favorite mantra, which is, I don't have to, I get to. When you feel the power of gratitude as an adult, it's easy to see how transformative it can be for our kids. Because gratitude isn't say thank you to Aunt Sally, it's emotional intelligence in motion. It's empathy, it's awareness. It's the beginning of teaching our kids about compassion.
I love that you say gratitude isn't, just saying, say thank you to grandma. Because as a parent, I know that's like what everyone wants to hear, especially anyone older than me. I feel like, you go to these like gatherings, especially the holidays are coming up, and that's what people expect. But I know as a parent, like I want to take it one step further. And I know there's a lot of parents out there, that I've talked to and that I've heard the same thing. Everyone today really just wants to go a little deeper and foster that genuine gratitude. So how do you suggest that parents go about fostering true gratitude, especially during this holiday season?
Well, so like the real question, if we're going to foster it in ourselves and we're going to be intentional and we're going to use the mantra of like, I don't have to, I get to, and then we're going to try to get that, from the top down in our homes to try to teach our kids not just the thank you, but the true gratitude and appreciation. We have to ask the real question, which is how do we teach kids genuine gratitude? And not just the thank you in the holidays. Like we said, that's important. Please and thank you is important, but we're going so much deeper in this conversation. And this is where the conversation really begins for today's podcast, because how do we raise empathetic, emotionally intelligent kids who feel genuine gratitude for being thought of, not just the performative, say please and thank you kind of stuff, but the real appreciative emotion? How do we teach appreciation during the holidays and all year long? Today's podcast isn't about just holiday manners where our kids are saying the obligatory please, thank you to family and friends. We don't want to just simply train our kids to recite please and thank you on command. That's just rote memory. That's just doing it because mom and dad said. And I think we can all agree that we want kids who are genuinely thankful, who understand where gratitude comes from. And spoiler alert, it will not come from us forcing it. So teaching real gratitude is teaching a feeling. It's one that grows out of noticing someone's effort and care for you. It's the kind of raw emotion that once felt will get recycled into kindness, empathy, and giving. And here's the part that I think gets easily missed when we're talking about gratitude in the parenting realm, is that kids can't feel true gratitude until they've taken some type of small emotional risk themselves by thinking of someone else, considering someone else. That's how gratitude is born. And as parents, we can kickstart that process in a variety of ways.
I remember being in my mid-20s and I worked with a family. I did some private care with kids and I worked a lot with kids doing behavior management, and kids were like on the autism spectrum and things like that. I did this for a number of years and I worked privately with a family who had one child on the autism spectrum who I mostly took care of, but they also had a neurotypical child. So especially during the holidays, the neurotypical child definitely there was more expectations, right? And I remember going to work after the holidays, and the mother of these kids was still reeling from the day before. Like, holidays were so terrible. And mostly she was really fixated on her oldest child, who was the neurotypical child, that she was just not grateful. And I just remember being so taken back. I really didn't even understand it. And I didn't have kids yet. So I'm like, what is going on? And I just thought like, well, like they're kids, like in my head, I'm thinking like, I'm sure it's not like a big deal. Right. And I just really did not understand. Fast forward years later, I'm a parent myself, and it has definitely come up. I just remember really thinking back to that moment and being like, oh my goodness, I kind of know exactly how this mom felt, and really kind of struggling with those feelings of frustration sometimes. Oh, all this work has put into this event, or whatever, all the stuff that you're doing, and my kids aren't grateful. So can you talk a little bit more about how parents can handle this?
Yeah, let's start at the very beginning. And it starts with looking and watching how kids receive. So how they handle the act of receiving. And it starts very young. And I have a personal story about that. And that's how I can lend insight into this, because this is what happened with our firstborn. But often, kids can look ungrateful because they don't know how to receive. And, like all new parents, when our oldest was little, we could not figure out how he didn't like light up at Christmas or birthdays the way we thought he should, like those Hallmark moments, where you picture the kids wide-eyed and big smile and the whole sparkle. Yeah, that none of that was happening. He'd open a gift and look at it and almost shrink a little, and not to being dramatic, but just kind of uncomfortable. And we, our first child, so we initially took that as just being ungrateful. And we thought, gosh, this kid, we're drilling down on the whole please and thank you. And don't you know mommy and daddy thought of you and blah, 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 which is we thought, maybe he didn't like the toy, or, maybe he didn't understand what was happening, or maybe we were just raising that one kid on earth who didn't like unwrapping presents. We just weren't sure what was going on. But then our triplets came along, and watching all four of them side by side, everything finally clicked. He didn't feel worthy of getting something just because he was, this particular kid, he was suspicious about, why am I being given that? Why I didn't earn this? And yes, those things do go through a little 3 and 4 and 5-year-old's mind. Like, don't second guess that. They're a little kind of put off by that, wondering, they're not sure how to receive. He loved the gifts and he loved us. He just didn't know what to do with the feeling of being given something that he didn't earn or ask for. He was confused, and that kind of came off as ungrateful. We thought, what's really going on with this kid, until we had the 3 others and we're like, okay, we see what's going on here. It kind of hit us at that point. And we realized something big. It wasn't ingratitude. It was actually just discomfort and awkwardness. And the funny part is that while we were over here thinking that he didn't appreciate the gifts, he was over there thinking, what's the return policy and all this attention? He was not feeling comfortable about that. Do I owe somebody something? Is there some kind of script I'm supposed to say? He just really wasn't processing the whole act of receiving. And once that kind of clued in on us, we realized, oh, okay, we have to kind of start with the basics. And it gets back to what I said earlier, which is they have to have some emotional investment. And even a kid at 3 or 4 can go through their toys and select one to give to other children, or they can have some type of investment of creating artwork for somebody, or putting in time and thought for somebody and seeing how that feels, getting that investment so that when somebody does it for them, they can start to have that appreciation and that gratitude. So that's when we learned something sort of, important, that all of us should have embroidered on a pillow. Kids don't always know how to receive love on command. So, and, honestly, adults, we struggle with that too. So before you jump into the whole he's ungrateful, or say thank you, or go hug grandma, we have to pause and ask, is my kid actually ungrateful, or just overwhelmed, unsure, or feeling on the spot? Receiving is a skill, and appreciation is a skill, and gratitude is a skill. None of those skills are acquired from our pressure to just say thank you at any age. This stuff takes awareness and training on our part. So gratitude is emotional intelligence as well as etiquette. So we can just sort of reframe the way we look at it. Bringing back the whole topic of gratitude, it does bring us to the holidays, which are coming upon us here. We got Thanksgiving coming up. The holidays is when gratitude really gets hijacked. It's basically a gratitude obstacle course for us adults too, where we have to think of others, and there's a lot of pressure, which is why, just circling back on my philosophy of gift giving, don't give me a gift. My gift to you is you don't have to give me a gift. We can eliminate a lot of stress for ourselves, but I digress. Kids are supposed to be thankful and polite and be excited and be gracious and be social and flexible. And, we're asking them to be on their best behavior while simultaneously running on too little sleep. Like when they're home from the holidays or from school, they're getting less sleep. They're probably getting too much sugar, like I know I do. Disrupted routines, itchy holiday scratchy outfits, 47 relatives asking, do you remember me? Overstimulation that would even take an adult down, let alone a 5-year-old. So we're over here, expecting emotional intelligence, and their nervous system is just trying not to explode. And this is where the gratitude gets hijacked, especially during the holidays. Not because kids don't care, and not because they're entitled, but because their brain is basically buffering like a slow internet connection. You cannot expect a child to feel gratitude when their system is overwhelmed. It's like asking somebody to meditate when the fire alarm is going off. And that's why the holidays are a perfect time to rethink what gratitude actually looks like and how to support your kid's body and brain so that they can access it.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that their nervous system is just trying not to explode, because honestly, I feel that way most of the time during the holidays as well, especially during the holidays. And I appreciate that you called out that it's not because they don't care or they're entitled. I think often that gets thrown around so easily by people, especially the last number of years that I've been a parent. And that alone just gives me something to think about. I do think that as parents, we jump to the all those conclusions. I know I've been super guilty of that as well. So with that in mind, I'm not big on forced thank yous. And, I love that you want to dive deeper into that because I think that happens a lot, during this holiday time. To me, it just feels like inauthentic. And I prefer to just kind of go about teaching my own kids that real, true gratitude that you're talking about today. So how can we as parents today kind of move past like those forced thank yous and teach kids more like true, authentic gratitude?
Okay, well, there are some ways that forced gratitude backfires, but let me first say that I am not against forcing my kids to write a thank you note. All of this said, I am not about the whole rote thank you, whatever, just without adding some background, some intention, and some training in the background for building that gratitude. I will hunt you down and make sure that you sent the thank you note to grandma and grandpa or to whoever, and that you hand wrote it, whatever it is. Like, that's something I will force. Okay. But that's the manners part. But this is not what this podcast is about. But still, I think writing thank you notes is a lost art. But general please and thank yous, just for the sake of saying please and thank you, can backfire. And so, all of us have lived that moment. Go say thank you, give grandma a hug, show them that you appreciate it. And that's fine. I mean, that's part of general parenting. What I'm saying is we should also go deeper. It's well-intentioned and it feels like good manners, but we're missing some components. But for the most part, if all we do is stick with just the forced thank yous and the forced hugs, this is what we're going to be left with. So forced gratitude teaches kids to perform an appreciation, and they're not really feeling it. It shuts down authenticity and replaces it with compliance. So instead of forcing the moment, let's teach and train and prepare our kids for the moment. I'm a big fan of parenting. Kids are adults in training, and as parents, we're trainers. Here is what real gratitude can look like, a variety of different ages. So real gratitude is not just thank you. It's noticing the human behind the action, and how kids access that depends entirely on their age of development. So say, for example, 0 to 7, you do something like a mirroring. So role modeling pretty much. So when you say, grandma made this for you, that was so kind, then they begin to associate effort with meaning, not because you demand the thank you. You're taking it that one step further and just adding that little bit of training and saying, because you drew attention to the heart behind it. Say for tweens, start to connect effort and intention at that age. And tweens finally start to understand the why. They notice that, Auntie baked something special that they really like to eat. They understand that there's time and energy and care put into something. And you can narrate that intention by saying, she thought of you when she made this. And that's just building empathy, and not just etiquette. It's empathy and just the thought behind her thinking of you and taking the time to prepare, buy ingredients, bake it, and bring it. So there's so much more than just the thank you there. There's that whole intention. And then teens, they're all about authenticity or nothing. Teens will give you one of the greatest gifts. They will give you the unfiltered truth. If it feels forced or fake or staged or performative, they're going to reject it instantly. But when gratitude feels real and relational and meaningful, teens will step up effortlessly because they respond to sincerity and not scripts. Here's how you can create an environment where gratitude kind of grows naturally inside your home. Kids will internalize your noticing more than your instructing. They will respond more to, again, your noticing of someone's time and care and energy and preparation for you, as opposed to just that quick thank you. Grandma remembered your favorite cookies. Wasn't that thoughtful of her? That's just that little extra prompting, that little bit of investment in the moment for gratitude. I love how cozy it feels when everybody's together. I just look around the house and I'll tell them, my gratitude is that all my kids are home and everybody's home safe. And isn't this cozy when we're all together? Just sort of planting that seed of gratitude and happiness inside the family. Sometimes just that simple sentiment really gets absorbed into the kids and makes a house feel like a home. Aunt Mary, she spent a lot of time making this meal for us. That noticing of time and investment from someone. Or, I noticed you helped with the ornaments. It made this room really feel and look special. Just that little extra intention and that little extra investment in the child will just go such a long way. This isn't micromanaging manners. This is narrating the emotional texture of the moment. If your child misses a thank you, don't shame them. Just offer the simple prompt. Hey, want to go tell Aunt Jenny that you liked her gift? I think that would really make her day. So again, you're taking it a tiny little bit of a step further to tell the child that their effort is going to make someone feel better. Kids do well when someone supports their emotions, not just the behavior. Gratitude will grow in safety, not in stress, not in stress of the performative types of gratitude. If your child is overwhelmed or clingy or quiet or melting down, that's not disrespect, especially during the holidays. That's dysregulation. And a dysregulated child isn't quite capable of gratitude. So you want to sort of step back and decode the behavior instead of correcting it. Hey, you look overwhelmed. Do you want a break? Or that felt like a lot. Why don't you come sit with me? Or, you seem disappointed. Do you want to talk about it? So just instead of, if I see my child is behaving in this way and they're withdrawing, again, it goes back to our story about our oldest, that he's responding oddly to opening presents where we thought every kid was born excited to open a present. Now I have to sort of step back and become a watcher and more aware and more intuitive with my family and my child and read the situation. If we see that they're getting dysregulated and they're not capable of gratitude in that moment, I'm not going to hammer down. I'm going to just walk it back a little bit and take some time with them. Do you want to come sit with me? Or, hey, this feels like a lot. What do you need from me? So now let's talk about how we can prepare kids to receive by letting them give first. This is one of the most powerful principles that you can teach. Kids understand gratitude more deeply when they've given something themselves. Not expensive things, effort things. Before the holidays, help your child make something for the people that will be giving them gifts. So if you know an aunt or, grandma or grandpa or a friend is going to be giving them a gift, maybe you can start, maybe in like October or so, start to plan maybe having your child make a drawing or a little bracelet or a handmade ornament or some type of little, card that they can scribble or draw a photo on, something sparkly, ridiculous, or meaningful. It doesn't matter. At every age, our child can take some time to invest in others if we know that they're going to be receiving something from someone. This gives them a little bit of skin in the game. So when a child has invested effort in someone, receiving becomes a lot less awkward and less overwhelming, becomes more familiar feeling. Gratitude will click because they've experienced the other side of the exchange. So here's some ways to create practical, everyday gratitude habits in your home. Number one, just take some time around the table and every day make it a habit to name one small thing from your day that you appreciated. Some type of little micro gratitude. Like, have you ever hurt yourself and then thought, damn, I've taken this arm for granted? Stubbed my toe and now I'm limping and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to be grateful for my feet or whatever it is. I really do try to turn every unexpected situation that I could melt down over. I'll try to, again, that redirect, that I don't have to, I get to. It just immediately takes me from angry to grateful and happy. And it's intentional and it's practiced and it becomes a habit. So this is what we're trying to build into the kids, just every day, some little micro gratitude. And then that just starts to seep in and more goodness comes. You can teach kids to notice intention and effort. Like, she thought of you. Wasn't that nice? Or he spent time on this for you. He took that care for you. Isn't that awesome? You can do, like redo moments. No shame, just a chance to reconnect. Now that you're feeling calmer, do you want to tell Aunt Jenny now that you appreciate, her gift? She would probably love to hear it. So we can just, if we notice that our child wasn't in the moment for gratitude when we wanted him to be, maybe we just come back and we do a little redo moment and we always circle back and make sure that the lesson does land eventually. You can do family appreciation moments. One I appreciate from everyone at the table, per person or at bedtime. I appreciate this, or I appreciate someone for whatever it is. Again, the whole I get to, I don't have to mindset flip, that mantra rewires your home. I mean, if you use this with your family, not just with yourself, I get to show up. Gratitude becomes a worldview and not just a holiday activity. And last, again, I'm going to reiterate the thank you notes. Sadly, this has become a lost art, and you can get your child little cards with their name on it. No thoughtful effort should go without a handwritten thank you note. Not a text, not an email, a handwritten or scribbled note. And I am here to tell you that after really hammering down on my kids, all four of them, every time they got a gift from grandma or grandpa or from anybody, I was chasing them down. I was writing in a notepad, show me what you did. I need proof. I don't need just the yes. I need to know, did you send it? Did you write it? that has now seeped into their whole lives. And now when they're doing, if a mentor takes time for my daughter, and somebody meets her out for coffee, she's writing a thank you note. Hey, thank you for your mentorship. Thank you for connecting me to so-and-so. Like, it just starts to become part of their daily habit. So speaking of grateful, as we wrap up our podcast, I am grateful for every mom and dad who slips into listening to this podcast or any of my content. And, you're doing it between laundry and work calls and kid chaos. You remind me that we're all stronger together as a community and that we're learning from each other, because good parenting is not built in, it's built over time. I'm grateful for every parent who shows up, even on the days that they feel they've got nothing left. You're the heartbeat of your family, and don't ever forget that. So think about, in closing, what is one small way that you can model real gratitude this week? No pressure, just be genuinely appreciative. Think about how you can do that starting today and see how it affects everybody just before the holidays are starting. I think it will be pervasive, and I think it will start to seep in and help everybody. Did you know that you can submit any questions to me via my website? Look for the prompt on my website, ask me any question. My company is Ask Mom, which is for a reason. I get a lot of people reaching out, asking me questions. I will respond within 24 hours. Just check out the website and go to the Ask Mom, Ask a Question prompt, and I will get back with you. Thank you for listening, and have a great Thanksgiving. Happy parenting.
She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is you. Sure of herself, yeah, she takes care of biz. Powerful and strong, yeah, she knows who she is. Has integrity, woman strong and true. You know her by name, see this woman is you. She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is you. Adds value and hope. Has proved to be brave. See, it's never too late. Never time to behave. Reaching for dreams. Doesn't matter the age. Believes in herself. Unleashed from her cage. She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold.